What's up, guys? Welcome back to Our Keeler Outdoors. Still going through my baits here, late January. Today we got stick baits and all my shaky worms and all my drop shot worms. All my worms pretty much. And we got a lot, so stay tuned. We're gonna get through these. All right, so I'm gonna show you everything. These two came off the boat, went in the garage. They've been sitting in the garage until today, so I'm just gonna go through them. So this one was my true stick bait one. This one was more of my shaky head, finesse style bait one for drop shots. We're gonna start with my true stick bait ones. So I can't guarantee that they're all true stick baits in here, but they should be. Number one needs no introduction. Gary Yamamoto, the Senko. And you can see I have packs and packs of them. This, in my opinion, I did a Wacky Rigs video earlier in the summer. If you guys want to watch that, there's not a better weightless worm bait than the Yamamoto Senko. It's got the salt content, as you can see, and it's got a sink that weightless, no other worm in its class has been able to attain, in my opinion. So if I'm fishing a weightless Texas rig, a weightless Wacky rig, it's a Senko every time. Some of my favorite colors, the ones I just showed you, that's baby bass, more baby bass. This is more of a natural green flash, some gray in there, more of a natural bait fish. Of course, black and blue. Another style there, black and blue, and that's the laminate, so it's half black, half blue. And I got a pink morning dawn. So, yeah, best weightless worm there is. Probably the best worm on the market still. They're not going to last long. You are going to spend a good dollar on a lot less than some other companies. Choice is yours. That's my favorite one. I haven't found anything to do what it does. So, some other ones I tried, just so you can say I'm not biased. I got Big Bite Baits, exactly the same thing, that 5-inch Senko. Now I will say, my fiance Brianna, this is her favorite. This is her favorite one, the Wacky rig, and pretty much every time I take her out, I put her on a Wacky rig because it's the technique she's mastered at this point in time. I mean, she doesn't have a lot of time on the water, doesn't have many years on the water. Spinning rod is definitely her speed, and she can keep up with me throwing these around. So she fishes a much slower pace than mine. I think that's why I care so much more about that Yamamoto fall and that quicker fall. But those Big Bite baits, they do work just like the Yamamotos, but you're going to deal with a little slower fall when you go weightless. So that's up to you guys. And I'm not saying the slow fall is bad. At times it's probably even better, and it slows you down, so that's probably even better. So I understand the guys that use Big Bite baits and the yums. I have yums in there too, so I understand anyone that uses the Big Bite baits and the yums because they're a little cheaper. Just some other random stick baits, and I'm not going to talk much about yum. Everyone knows yum is pretty much a Senko. I have a few colors in yum from back when I was trying them out. Same thing as the Big Bite baits. They fall slower than the Senkos, which is why I don't go with them often. I have a few oddball ones. Don't even know where these came from, but they're in a good color, so they stayed in my box. Again, like I said, I've tried many different worms. I've never been able to recreate that fall that I get with the true Senko, but good action on this one, good color, and it's in that same structure, so they've stayed on. And then I have Impulse Reactionary Baits, which is another Senko. And I don't know where I got these. I'm guessing these came in a mystery tackle box maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I just kept them in the box because you never know when I'm going to need a little bit different green color. And that one's on par with the color I like to throw. So they're in there as well. Next one. These, I'm sure a lot of people have not heard of these. And they are the most expensive worm in my box. And it's not close. These are the Prologues by Roman Made. So there's a bigger size and there's a smaller size. I'm gonna pull them out. These were made in Japan. So here's the larger one, and it's got these ribs. This worm allegedly gives out the most vibration of any worm to ever hit the water. So, of course, when I heard that, and it's got almost like a snake head, snake tail, and it is very ribbed. So when I heard that, I bought them. I gave them a shot. The big ones are a little too big, in my opinion. If you're dragging, they'll work. The small ones are right up my alley. So I have drop shot at these. I have put these on a shaky head. I have caught fish on them. I didn't see anything that would justify me ever paying for them again. They catch fish, but I can't say they did any better or worse than my Zoom trick worms and Magnum trick worms that you're going to see here in a little bit. But if you're looking for a bait to be in your boat that you're going to pull out and nobody else is going to have, tailor-made, or these are Roman-made Prologue. Roman-made Prologue. Sorry, not tailor-made. Tailor-made for golfers. I don't know where I got that from, but Roman-made Prologues. Another unique one, and this is a small company called Bass Addiction. It's called their Twitch Stick. So I have had great luck in grass with these. This is almost strictly my grass flipping and pitching worm. It's got a split tail on it, and it's got a Senko action. And I bought 3 colors, and every time I run out, I buy the same 3 colors over and over. I bought their June Blood black and blue flake kind of one, a natural, pull one out, these are a little harder to see. If I can get it open, I'll pull it out. So more of a natural minnow color, shag color. And then the first one you've seen, that green pumpkinish color, natural color. So Bass Addiction, I highly recommend these. If you're looking for just a new kind of Senko, something different. Same Senko style with that split tail. It has a purpose. It stays in my tackle box, and I do really enjoy throwing them. Okay, next. I'm gonna pull out all my Zoom stuff. So, as you can see, I have a lot of the finesse worms. And again, that finesse worm can be used anything from a shaky head to even a light wacky rig. So between this and the trick worm, which is the next one I'll show you, this is the most effective wacky rig worm that I've ever thrown, to be honest with you. You can do it with a weighted hook. You could do it weightless on a dead quiet day. It will slow you down, like I was saying, but for whatever reason, when you don't care about the size of the fish and you're saying, I just want to fish, and it's a super calm day, throw out one of these finesse worms from Zoom in black, green pumpkin, you pick the color. Try it. See how they almost float at times. It really slows you down, and when you get on the fish on these things, you will unload on them all day long. I remember me and John, when I first started fishing these as a wacky rig, because I was out of everything else. We went from maybe 10 fish at that point. I think we finished the next 2 hours up with 75 more fish. Now, like I said, a lot of them were 10, 12-inch fish. It doesn't discriminate on size, but when you're just trying to catch a fish, Zoom finesse worms will absolutely catch fish all day, every day. It's just not going to discriminate on that size. Follow them up. I have the trick worm, or yes, the trick worms, which are the same as them, just and a little bit longer. Again, that finesse worm and these trick worms, I'll use them on shaky heads, wacky rigging at time, drop shots. That's pretty much what I use my Zoom worms for. And here we go with the Magnums in the black. This one you can wacky rig and fish it slower like the other ones. When you're trying to upsize your shaky head, this is the perfect worm to do it with the upsize a shaky head worm. Or I wouldn't put these on the drop shot. Pretty much weightless as a Texas rig, or on that that shaky head. That's my 2 purposes for these. got in here? Moving on, we got 6-inch clouts. Again, this is, if you haven't heard, the clout is a unique stick bait in my opinion. So it's got a unique profile. It's ribbed like that Prologue was. Where this shines in my box for me has been on a weightless Wacky rig or on a Nico rig. It's got a unique shimmy when it goes down that none of the other baits can recreate, in my opinion. Even that Senko doesn't have the shimmy of this clout worm. So you can see I have the green pumpkin, I have a black and blue. This is my #1 weighted Wacky rig or Nico worm. I haven't found a worm that performs better with a weight on it falling like that. So you can also flip them if you're looking for something, but I can't pinpoint what it is, but there is a unique vibration or something that these worms give off that absolutely works. And lastly, in this box, and we've talked about this in the past, how I love missile baits, I have the quivers. And the quivers have become one of my favorite all-around worms. So it's got that bladed tail. What I've been actually doing is Nico in this, and I will swim this across grass and drop it in. So Nico, they're a little too light, the Wacky rig. Nico flipping dragon. This is one of my first worms I tried, and I love this quiver worm. John Cruz says the quiver always delivers. So that's my true stick bait box. And this, try and get through this fast. This is more of my Ned rigs, shaky heads, just more options. So I got some net bait T-Max in here, shaky head worms. Just another option for that shaky head when you're going with that smaller profile. I got all my Z-Man stuff in here, so I got some trick shots, just strictly for drop shotting. I got some big bite baits in here. I got some of their Smalley Smashers, which is another drop shot bait. Pretty cool little one. Some coffee scented KVD worms, some power bait lug worms. It's another unique profile, little fatter. Zinkers, so this is one of my favorite ones from Z-Man. These are old, chances are they're stuck together because they don't come in the plastic. As you can see, yes, there we go. Good salt content on them. They still don't fall weightlessly even with all this salt in them. Where this shines is on a bigger shaky head to me. And actually, this is the bait I use on my Ned rigs, is the Zinker. So I'll cut an inch or two off this and throw that first. And then I'll cut an inch or two off that until I get to a true Ned rig size, like the Ned rigs they fall, because I like to stay bigger when I can. And this really allows me to be a little unique when other people are throwing a Ned rig, because I know the popularity of the Ned rig has absolutely skyrocketed. Every fisherman has them. I don't like throwing Ned rigs, period. So at least when I cut a little bit off that, I stay with a 4.5-inch worm, maybe 4-inch worm. I don't feel like I've truly chopped off my set yet and gone to the Ned rig. Correct me, I mean, that's just my opinion on it, but that's how I think of it. I use that Zinker pretty much as my Ned rig, even though I have the other ones. I will speak highly about these worms. So these are the Shaking My Head worms by Z-Man. They came out this past year. This is Brian Latimer, who is a great angler on the tour. This is his baby. So that is a great shaky head worm. Where this really shined for me this past season, this was the worm I used on my drop shot almost strictly every time I was out. I had it in green pumpkin, I had it in this June bug, but that thing, because the Z-Man completely floats, you'd have this profile floating on a drop shot, and you could twitch it and do whatever you wanted with it. And I mean, this is a worm from Z-Man I'll probably have. And what I love is they're starting to put these trays out. So like you've seen with my zinkers, they were all stuck together from a season of heating up, cooling down, which there's nothing you could do. The temperature on the boat changes, but as long as you keep these Z-Man worms in their trays, as you can see when I pulled that one out, it's in perfect shape. So Shaking My Head Worms by Z-Man. If you're looking for an alternative shaky head worm, you're looking for something new on that drop shot, definitely worth checking out. What else is in here? Of course, I got Robo Worms, and you've seen the magic worms that are made by Robo Worm that came out for missile baits. I grabbed some of them, but the original Robo Worm, perfect worm for drop shotting. Perfect worm. There may not be a better drop shot worm than those Robo Worms in both sizes. More net baits, more Shaking My Head worms, more trick shots. Yeah, you can see I got a ton of Z-Man stuff, so I don't discredit Z-Man. I actually really like what Z-Man has done. Some of their baits are definitely have a use and will always be in my tackle box. What else is in here? More trick worms. Oh, I'll show you these. These are the Guggen rattling Neds, and they have a rattle in them. I bought these because they're different. Yes, I have rattles I could shove in any bait, but the fact that theirs is already made with their juice and goes in, and I like the package they come in where it keeps them nice and straight. So, rattling Ned worm. So I do have them in the box, and I keep them in the box as well. So yeah, everything else is just duplicates, more shaky head worms, just more colors. Like I said, I keep it pretty simple. You've seen some Morning Dawn, some kind of Morning Dawn or red worm at the time, so I'll use a red worm, green pumpkin, black and blue June bug. That is the bread and butter, and this one's gone a lot longer than I wanted it to, but as you can see, I still got more worms in here. I've hit the highlights. More Smalley Smashers, more Rattling Neds, trick worms, more of the net baits, more of the T-Max. Like I said earlier, perfect shaky head worm. So that's my worms. We're gonna go through rigging them on the next video. I'll show you some of my shaky heads, some of my different heads that I use, some of my different rigging techniques for these, wacky rig and such. But this was just to dig into my boxes and see if I needed to order anything. And obviously, I don't need to order anything. So I need to run some of these colors and some of these styles out before I touch anything else. So appreciate you guys for watching. I know nobody made it this far, and I'm sorry. But thank you anyway. Catch you on the next one.